Hey, what's good all? So, the Gundam TCG set 1 is just a matter of days away. We've got the Precons. So today I don't want to talk about a build or anything. I just want to talk about some cards and a cycle of cards that I feel could stay prevalent in the meta and in the game with the future to come. As sets come and go, obviously there's going to be power creep, there's going to be different things popping in and out. But these are just a handful of cards that I feel are just going to be very, very solid for the game, even into the future of it. So, with that being said, I will say right now, some of this is kind of fluff, because it is very easy to look at something and go, ah yes, this is draw a card, I should play it, for whatever different reason. So, apologies now for that. Anyways, kick things off with the basis. I'm not going to be reading any of the deploy or anything like that unless it specifically has an effect linked to it. Side 7, restless base, choose one friendly unit, recovers. If there is ever any point in the game where recovery is prevalent or you get an effect for recovering, this card immediately becomes pretty decent. Yes, it can be knocked over fairly easy with only having 4 HP, but it's one costed, level 1, you can get it out early, or play it later for a very, very minor cost. The ability to just rest and heal can come up, especially if you want to keep swinging with the way that the Earth Federation does and keeping things around. Kusanagi, it is just removal. 2 cost, level 4, 4 HP, so it's very low to the ground, much like side 7, but unlike side 7 healing, this has burst, or not burst, I'm sorry, has deploy. Add one of your shields to your hand, then choose one enemy unit with 3 or less HP, return to its owner's hand. This can trigger out of security, so just being able to disrupt your opponent's plan, disrupt your opponent's game swinging attack, anything like that, why not? But with effects like that, it's honestly pretty good. This one probably could be one that is seen prevalent, or will see prevalent play still. Archangel, once per turn, pay 2, choose one friendly unit with blocker, set it as active, it can't attack during this turn. So with the blocker archetype and how that deck is looking, this is probably going to be one of the key cards for it. The 5 HP is not too bad, but the ability to just pay 1, restand after you've swung so that you have the blocker there to do its thing. Enough said about that, just solid. Basilius, active main restless unit, choose one friendly unit, it gets +1 AP during this turn. So with things that matter when it comes to AP, like Zaft itself, this is great for that, but with the fact that it doesn't have to be a Zaft unit that it targets for that AP bonus, it's going to stay prevalent for Zaft, I feel, and it might stay prevalent in the future for any deck that wants to have a lot of AP at a low cost. Zanzibar is the last base we'll be talking about. It is one of the deploy effects. If it's your turn when it's deployed, you may play, or you may deploy one Xeon unit card that is level 4 or lower from your hand. It's level 4, cost 2, HP 5, so same as some of the prior ones. Stat-wise, cost-wise, level-wise, absolutely fine. But it has the added benefit for a cost of 2, you can get something that is level 4 or lower. So it's a additional body on board. That body might have an effect to replace something in hand. So I do think that Zanzibar probably will stay as one of the more prevalent bases, especially if Xeon does the numbers that I think it will. Alright, up next. Show of Resolved. Show of Resolve. Level 4, 3 cost, draw 2. More mid-game card with the fact that it's level 4. Depends on how quick this game goes though as well. 3 cost isn't too bad for a draw 2. Overflowing Affection, on the other hand, level 2, cost 1. Draw 2, then discard 1. With there being some decks that actually want to have some stuff in the trash, this helps with that. And it's just a low cost, lower level draw 2. So these are probably, in my opinion, the two better of the commands out of the set, just because they draw for a very low level and cost for the most part. And then Science of a Revolution. First, draw 1, main, choose one rest of the enemy unit, deal 2 damage to it. So this can be removal that doubles out of security as a draw. I like drawing cards. I think we all like drawing cards. And something that has multi-duty of drawing a card if it's hitting security or acting as removal, not too bad. Alright, now we have First Contact. It is currently the only command with resource main. So, first, place 1 EX resource main, place 1 rest of resource. No matter where it's getting played from, we're getting a resource. Whether it's a permanent resource or a temporary resource, it all adds to the level and it all gives you something to use. There is nothing wrong with that. This is a phenomenal card. And it's playing what I feel like is on card. Peaceful Timber. There's going to be a couple of cards that also have the pilot function as well, so we're just going to talk about the fact that any command that also has a pilot on it is immediately better, in my opinion, because of the double duty nature of it. Peaceful Timber. During this battle, your shield area can't receive damage from enemy units that are level 4 or lower. It's dependent on how relevant low to the ground, lower level decks are. If they are very prevalent, a pilot that also doubles as a fog effect is not bad, but if they're not as prevalent or not, it's not as common to see go-wide decks that play things low, then this immediately gets worse. I'm waiting to see how token decks play though, because this could honestly be kind of okay for against those. But what is better against things like that is just straight removal. So from this point on, we got removal of different kinds. Battle of the Aces, 2 costs, level 3, has a burst effect to deal 2 damage to an enemy unit, and then the main action, choose 1 damaged enemy unit, deal 3 damage to it. So it's a shock out of security, it's a bolt out of hand. For the cost of 2, I think that this is fine. I think that this is actually fairly solid removal. Close Combat, I also think is solid removal. Level 2, cost 2, so it's even lower to the ground. It's just the shock though. It is the shock of the game. First, we'll activate the main. The main of the action is choose 1 enemy unit, deal 2 damage to it. So it's just the shock. Yep, it's great. This will probably stay prevalent until a better removal option is presented. The Witch and the Bride. First, activate the main. Cost 2, level 5. Main action, choose 1 enemy unit with 5 or less HP, return to its own thing. It's disruption. There is nothing to say about it. It is disruption. It can strip a pilot into trash. With the bounce to hand, maybe your opponent doesn't have a way to redeploy when you throw this out there to bounce something. But any kind of disruption to what your opponent wants to do is good. And a cost of 2, not bad. Cost of 1, level 2, so it's lower to the ground, and like I said, is a pilot with Hawk of Endymion. Main action, choose 1 enemy unit with 3 or less HP, return to its owner's hand. So it's a little bit lower with 3 versus 5, but that feels like with the way that this game plays, the 3 HP will still be prevalent because of wanting to hit your enemy's units to get rid of them. This is also in a color with a bunch of blocking. So just being able to block and then get rid of something. Oops, did not mean to close that. Covert Operative with Zamil. Choose one enemy unit with 2 or less HP, return it to its owner's hand. If you have a linked unit in play, choose one enemy unit with 4 or less HP instead. Level 3 cost 1, again, low cost. This one I feel actually stays more prevalent than Hawk. Hawk of Endymion, not bad, but I think that of the two, I would rather have Covert Operative. Okay, on to our next card. This one's just more of a cycle. Any of these things, as we've seen in the Digimon card game, as we've seen in other card games where you flip an amount of cards, you look at them, you take a card, you add it to hand, especially when it's got the low cost of 1, stays actually fairly prevalent across the games. The fact that this is also in green, and green kind of doesn't care about the level with just ramping, and the fact that if you wanted to be on theme with the wing deck, you have Death Sight, you have First Contact, you have Wing Gundam Bird mode to add, you know, more to your resource count and get to that level sooner. Alright, into the pilots now. Gear links. When linked, draw 1, it replaces itself. That is the most important, one of the most important parts of this card. It just straight up replaces itself. Its mech, in my opinion, is also an honorable mention because it is a very important, prevalent card for the Unicorn deck. The Unicorn that can be out there, it gets destroyed, you get links back, cool. But if you swing, it survives, you can then pop it with your own destroyed mode to draw a card and get links back, and to go immediately onto the destroyed mode and get to swinging. And the fact that he's got +2/+2, really good. This is honestly, in my opinion, one of the better pilots. This is also one of the better pilots in my opinion. Jewel gives +1/+1, lower to the ground though at level 3, cost of 1, Zaft. So Zaft, a lot of the Zaft units being able to have, when attacking, deal damage, do this, do that, can proc and trigger this. So once per turn, when attacking, or when an enemy link unit is destroyed with damage while this unit is attacking, draw 1. It does not say battle damage, it does not say combat damage, it does not say anything like that. So if you have this on a unit that when it attacks, throws out a damage, your opponent has a linked unit that's got 1 HP left, cool, that little ping just turned into a card draw. Ethelman, when linked, discard 1, if you do, draw 1, it cycles. And I will say that I like seeing the cycling, the draws, and everything within the Zaft faction. Because it is a very piece reliant deck, so being able to find your pieces sooner is going to help a lot. But yeah, just one linked, if you discard a card, if you draw a card, it's cycling. If you're playing a deck that actually cares about one person trash too, it sets up trash. And again, low cost, low level. Not low cost, or not low level, but all pilots are highly costly. Zex Marquise, giving +2 AP, +1 HP. During your turn, this unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, draw 1. That is not once per turn. Marquise is able to restand if you have anything else that can trigger restand. It's in blue, so you've got the heals that have been prevalent. You can even play it with the annoying option card that is also a pilot that heals. So Zex, I feel like, will be fairly okay, especially if Epion ends up caring about Zex and Hero, or we could be getting, you know, Moga. Miguel's game. During paired, destroyed if you have another unit in play, draw 1. Level 2, cost 2. So this is just a cycle I want to talk about. Okay. There are several units that are low to the ground that replace themselves in some way. Either when they attack, they draw a card. In this case, when it's destroyed, if you have another link unit in play, draw a card. There's one that cycles when attacking, discard a card, draw a card. Any of those that say draw a card are great. Any of them are fairly future-proof and can have viability going forward, especially when I just didn't want to talk about all of them. But the additional benefit on some of these units can run a double dip a little bit. Level 2 cost 2, and link. So being able to link up, swing for a low cost after you've cleared your opponent's security is great. It's like the hybrid beginning in Digimon. So yeah, I really have nothing else to say about that. Low cost units that are low level. You can play them out early to do this thing, and you can play them out late game, link them up, make a pilot, and swing people. What is not to like about that? Speaking of other units, in Gundam Birdman, as I mentioned earlier, level 3 cost 3, deployed first one EX resource. The stat line itself is fine, it's very easy to run over. In particular, what you are playing this for is the fact that it says place one resource. So giving you the ability to get to your level quicker, get more resources, play out more things. That's nothing else to say about that. It just does what it's going to do. And then the ball. Again, this is going to be like Miguel's getting. Anyways, the ball, 1/1, attack, choose one of your units, it recovers 1 HP. So, the fact that this swings, recovers HP, it works very well with like how Toggies and some of the odd stuff wants to play, but it also works with the Earth Federation, obviously, so you've got the faction aspects and things like that. None of that really matters. The point that I want to talk about is the fact that it is level 1, cost 1. Any of these things are going to have the potential, especially if they have any kind of effect on them, to see play in the future. It's going to depend on how good the effect is, but something that you can just play out on turn 1, maybe it gets popped by one of your opponent's effects, maybe it sits there and does something, who knows, but a low-cost resource, or a low resource cost card that can just do the thing what you want it to do. What's not to like about that? But those are just a handful of cards that I feel are good. There's plenty that are still good, prevalent, all that in the set. It's also going to be dependent on a lot of these things of the power creep ratio, how ham Bandai goes on that. But overall, a lot of these cards, I feel, are going to stay very, very prevalent, especially any of the ones that are just like low-cost, cheap removal, like Witch and Bride, or Affection, with it being a level 2, cost 1, draw 2, pitch 1. Anything that is going to be drawing you a card or giving you a resource at a very low cost, very early portions of the game are going to be phenomenal. That being said, we'll see y'all later. If you want to come hang out with us over on Twitch, please, by all means, do. We do a lot of different things. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. We'll see you then.